Did you know? Forgotten Ancient was the very first You Make the Card design. The event took place from January 2002 to December 2002, and its goal was to have the Magic community design their very own card. Within that time frame, Magic designer Mark Rosewater gave the community 24 steps in creating their card. Each step had a poll in which the audience would cast a vote on what attribute the card would have. The first step started with the basics, like color and card type, while the later steps involved the artwork. The final result was a humanoid elemental capable of enhancing any creature's power and toughness. Forgotten Ancient was printed in the final set of Onslaught block, Scourge, in May 2003. It was well received among casual players, but never quite succeeded in competitive play. One of the most iconic creatures in Magic's history is Ball Lightning. Printed in the dark, Ball Lightning made an immediate impact in competitive and casual Magic. One of the first breakout decks to feature 4 copies of the Elemental was Dead Guy Red. Designed by David Price, also known as the King of Beatdown, Dead Guy Red was one of the fastest, most consistent aggro decks of its time. However, Ball Lightning stopped receiving a reprint after 5th edition. During its absence, Wizards of the Coast printed cards similar to Ball Lightning, like Blistering Firecat in Onslaught, and an alternate green version called Groundbreaker in Planar Chaos. But neither of those cards made the same impact that Ball Lightning did during its heyday. When Ball Lightning returned in Magic Core Set 2010, it saw moderate success alongside another iconic red card, Lightning Bolt. Only receiving 1 reprint from the annual core sets, both Lightning Bolt and Ball Lightning never saw play in Standard again. In 2012, Ravnica block returned, and Gatecrashed introduced a new functional reprint of the lightning-fast elemental. This time, the Boros Guild had their own version of Ball Lightning in the form of Spark Trooper. When Mark Rosewater joined the R&D team in 1996, one of the first card designs he created was an elemental creature from Mirage. Named after the first 2 letters of his first and last name, Maro became a very popular green creature, thanks to having its power and toughness equal to the number of cards in its controller's hand. In Weatherlight, the final set of Mirage block, Imperial Armor extended this unique ability to white. Because this card was an enchant creature, it turned out to be more effective thanks to it being able to give any creature it attaches to +X equal to the number of cards in its controller's hand. Several years later in Urza's Legacy, Multani Maro Sorcerer was printed. This legendary elemental became a favorite among many casual players because its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in all players' hands, and it had protection built in with Shroud. This was a great creature for multiplayer games, and it's even played today in Commander. The name Maro Sorcerer was included as a reference to the original Maro creature from Mirage, but the name goes beyond that in Magic's lore. In the multiverse, Maro Sorcerers are known as elemental manifestations of the land, brought about by strong magic or nature's own will. In the plane Dominaria, it is believed that every wood has a spirit or avatar. For the forest of Yavimaya, that avatar was Multani. A few years later, another Maro Sorcerer was printed in Invasion, Mollymo. Instead of cards in hand, it counted the number of lands you controlled. It also came with Trample. Even though Mollymo would often come into play as a 7/7 trampler, it never saw competitive play. However, because of its flavor and grow mechanic, Mollymo does see play in casual formats, like Commander. Since 1994, Titania has been featured on the names, flavor text, and artwork of several cards. But it wasn't until 2014 that Titania finally received her very own Magic card. This ancient Maro Sorcerer fought Urza and Mishra to save the Forest of Argoth during the Brothers' War. Unfortunately, her efforts were futile. In the final battle, Urza activated a weapon of devastating power and destroyed Titania and Argoth. This event led to the massive climate change across the entire plane, causing the beginning of the Ice Age. Dubbed the best fatty ever printed by old-time pro player and former Magic writer Jamie Wakefield, Verdant Force became one of the game's best green creatures in Magic's early years. Brought into the limelight in a deck called Secret Force, Jamie championed the Elemental Fatty to qualify for Pro Tour New York in 1999. Secret Force caught the attention of many players worldwide, giving the behemoth a much bigger spotlight. For years, Verdant Force was the best green creature any player could summon. But as the years passed, the best fatty ever printed was slowly losing its title. Today, there are far bigger and more powerful creatures than the beloved fatty from Tempest. From the best fatty ever printed, we move to a much smaller elemental, Aquamoeba. Not as powerful as its counterpart, Wild Mongrel, Aquamoeba's role in green-blue madness was just as important. Both have the activated cost of discarding a card, which was essential to enable all creatures with madness to be played. For a very long time, Wild Mongrel and Aquamoeba were some of the best 2-drops the game had ever seen. But, just like Verdant Force, their glory days slowly faded away. Well, that's all we have for this episode. Please stay tuned as we cover more elementals in a future installment of Did You Know Magic? This has been Athena Froehlich. You can check me out on Twitter at _Elantris_, on Twitch at Elantris, or my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Elantris. And don't forget to subscribe to Gathering Magic, and thank you so much for watching.